In my view, the time has now come to end Mr. Kohlberger's 15 minutes of fame.
Now at 7 o'clock, Brian Kohlberger, the man convicted of killing 4 University of Idaho students, will spend the rest of his life behind bars. We're going to go back inside the courtroom for yesterday's emotional statements from the victims' families. And later.
Get on the ground right now. On the ground, you're under arrest.
A man in Vancouver arrested after he allegedly raped a 12-year-old girl. Why police believe he could have more victims. Plus,
frustrating. We missed our flight, so we had to get rebooked.
And passengers at PDX were frustrated, to say the least, after early morning construction yesterday led to a huge backup along Airport Way. We'll talk about what was done to address the issue and how traffic fared this morning. All that coming up here in the 7 o'clock hour of Sunrise.
good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Chris McGinnis standing by with your traffic report, and Rodney Hill, fresh off his vacation, looking very refreshed on this Thursday. What do you have for us, Rod?
Feeling good. Good morning to you. We have another warm day. Yesterday, the big headline was we hit 90 again. It was 93 in Salem, 90 in Portland. Here's our state capital this morning. Should hold in the 80s today. 60 is the current number out the door. Similar, mainly clear sky look over downtown Portland, and 61 is the temperature. I have Portland 76 degrees at noon, and then getting up to about 87 for a high temperature this afternoon. Here's Chris.
Thanks for that. We pick it up with a traffic alert in the Gladstone area, and that is weather right now. Weather looks good. I can get you back to that traffic alert, hopefully. I-205 southbound right now is lined up about 4 miles because of a wreck in West Lynn. There's the live look right now, and that's the backup in Gladstone. And again, as we get you to the traffic map, I can show you where that crash scene is, zooming off to the south and west. It's in West Lynn near Viewpoint. The good news is, in the last 5 minutes or so, it looks like both lanes are flowing again as that traffic has been, or the crash scene has been cleared to the shoulder. A couple of cars have actually already left the scene, but the damage done, so to speak, to the morning commute. We're looking at an extra 20 minutes to get you south from Clackamas to West Lynn if you're leaving right now. There's a live look in Vancouver. I-5 southbound, a little slow and go, of course, at the Interstate Bridge. That trip in from Main Street down to the Fremont has jumped up to 20 minutes at last check. Guys?
Chris.
In my view, the time has now come to end Mr. Kohlberger's 15 minutes of fame. It's time that he be consigned to the ignominy and isolation of perpetual incarceration.
Who you just heard from there was the judge during Brian Kohlberger's sentencing yesterday. Kohlberger will now serve 4 consecutive life terms in prison after pleading guilty to the murders of 4 University of Idaho students.
Sebastian Robertson with our sister station in Seattle brings us more from inside the courtroom.
Hands shackled and an inmate orange, Brian Kohlberger sat devoid of emotion through hours of testimony, denouncing his admitted crimes and at times him personally.
He took the version of me who didn't constantly ask, what if it happens again? What if next time I don't survive?
For the first time, we heard from the 2 surviving roommates of 1122 King Road. Both were home at the time of the killings.
He is a hollow vessel, something less than human. A body without empathy, without remorse. He chose destruction. He chose evil. He feels nothing.
Family of Xana, Madison, and Kaylee all delivered victim impact statements. The family of Ethan Chapin did not attend the hearing. Rage came from the father of Kaylee Gonsalves.
You're not worth the time, the effort to be remembered. In time, you will be nothing but 2 initials forgotten to the wind.
Kaylee's big sister Olivia did not mince words, vowing to not let her anger feed a man she described as a beast.
Let me be very clear. Don't ever try to convince yourself you mattered just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see through you. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your ass.
Among the raw emotions, there were moments of grace, notably from Xana's mother, who, through her faith, washed her hands of her daughter's killer.
Jesus has allowed me to forgive you for murdering my daughter without you even being sorry. This forgiveness has released me from any and all evil you have inflicted on me and my family.
Of note, the judge did not stop the proceedings at any point, allowing the victims to speak for as long as they needed. Before delivering his sentence, the judge says he hopes that Brian Koberger's 15 minutes of fame is over. In Boise, I'm Sebastian Robertson.
Meanwhile, unsealed documents are giving some new insight into Koberger's behavior after he was arrested. Police interviewed a jail inmate who was in the cell right next to Koberger's. He described the killer as, quote, intelligent and polite for the most part. But the inmate also said he quickly became annoying because of some of his habits. He said Koberger would wash his hands dozens of times a day and spend 45 minutes to an hour in the shower. He also mentioned Koberger would stay awake almost all night long. Detectives asked the inmate if Koberger ever mentioned anything about the murders. The inmate said he didn't. We have much more from Koberger's sentencing yesterday, including more statements from the victims' families, available on our YouTube channel and right here on our streaming TV app, KGW+.
2 people died and 2 others were injured in what police described as a frightening scene last night in an East Vancouver neighborhood. It's not far from Evergreen High School.
So this all started with a 911 call right around 6:15 from a man who lives in that neighborhood. He told police that a man he didn't know, carrying a shotgun, broke into his home through a window and attacked him. He was able to get away, but police say he was injured in that fight. Officers started checking other homes in the area, and they came across one with 2 more victims inside, a man and a woman. The woman was already dead when they got there. The man was injured. Later, police found a man who matched the suspect's description, dead inside another home with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Needless to say, neighbors were shocked by all that happened.
It's terrifying. My parents live here. They're retired, peaceful. I grew up in this neighborhood, and we never had anything remotely close to something like this happening. So, it kind of worries me thinking, they might be at risk.
Police say they believe there's no further threat to the public. The 2 men who were injured during all of this last night were taken to the hospital.
And a reminder, if you or someone you know is struggling, help is available 24/7. Just call or text 988, which is the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, which provides confidential support and crisis resources. Again, that number is 988.
All right, this is some video from earlier this morning taken by the Portland airport. Traffic much better this morning than we saw this time yesterday. There is a construction project underway in that part of town, and that construction project has changed its hours. It was happening from 10 p.m. until, it was happening from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. It's been changed, though, from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Yesterday, a complete mess. Take a look.
Morning was really awful.
Early Wednesday morning at PDX, travelers like Nicole K were met with surprise congestion on Airport Way.
It's been nonsense. It's absolutely just crazy.
Leading some flyers to pop out of cars and try to reach the airport on foot, as a road repaving project created a traffic jam that lasted more than an hour.
It's the worst I've ever seen.
I basically have to leave tomorrow now.
Frustrating. We missed our flight, so we had to get rebooked.
Many missed flights and are spending hours at PDX waiting for another plane.
And today, they dropped the ball big time.
Those we spoke with say the airport didn't give them any notice of possible delays.
At least let us know, send an email, do something, and let us know that it's going to be traffic and to get there early.
As of mid-morning Wednesday, the Port of Portland says the traffic is at least partly tied to overnight paving. They add on their website travelers should be aware of overnight work and allow extra time in case of delays. Still, one man who missed his Alaska Airlines flight showed us this email the airline sent him, warning of delays nearly 2 hours after his flight had already taken off. He, like many others, was stuck booking another flight.
We're now waiting 6 hours for our next flight. So all of this is just so incredibly disappointing. I am really angry with PDX today.
Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
All right, your time now is 7:09. Headed over to meteorologist Rod Hill for a look at the weather.
Yeah, hey, I want to give you a quick look. We don't show you this that often, the big wildfire map, so you kind of know what's going on across our state. All the little red fire emblems are where the large fires are. And really not a lot in terms of total numbers, except for a big cluster that's down in the southwestern corner of our state. And these largely are from lightning activity that happened the first 10 days of July. Of course, making news lately with the now 3 blazes in Skamania County, including the Burdoin fire, which is still over 11,000 acres sitting between Bingen and Lisle on the Washington side. Wind forecast for that area today continues to be from the west. That's very consistent. 10 to 20 miles per hour, and they've made progress on some containment lines around that fire in the past 24 hours, so thumbs up, good news there. We are looking at the southern tier of our state and up into southeastern Oregon where you see the light green shade. That's a potential thunderstorm threat zone for later today into this evening. Rising sun, a really nice morning here inland. Beautiful sunshine from the Salem tasting room camera in Sherwood. Current number is sitting at 60 degrees here. The other temps pretty much where we've been. We have a light wind, 61 in Tigard, Wilsonville the same, 60 degrees up in Vancouver. Other temperatures 40, 58 in Estacada, and 57 in Albany. This is another day with cloudy skies up and down the coast that may be stubborn to clear. Your highs stay only in the 60s. Could be some areas get sun and others don't. Inland, though, it's pretty much all sun. There's that thunderstorm threat, maybe up into Burns later today. 92 in Madras, Pendleton, the Dalles all expected to reach 90 degrees. And Portland 7-day. Remember, yesterday it was 90. So today, 87, not quite as warm. And then a nice drop in temperatures Friday. The weekend clouds holding us in the 70s Saturday and potentially on Sunday, too. Here's Chris.
Looks like another comfortable weekend. Thank you, Rod. We've got a traffic alert on I-205 southbound. A pair of issues. There's one of them near Viewpoint. I'll step out of the way. Over there on the right-hand side of your screen is another issue near Highway 43. And there's the backup, which extends now almost back to Clackamas. So heads up on I-205 southbound. If you're heading between Clackamas and West Lynn, 205 is your drive. And that's going to take you an extra 20 minutes. This is what it looks like right now from just south of the Clackamas area. There's the first crash. It looks like that is cleared now near Viewpoint, but we've got another situation near Highway 43 on the shoulder, which is adding to those delays. In fact, there it is right now. So again, lots of slowing on that side of town. I-5, not to be outdone here, is slow and go from Main Street. Right now, China, that's a 20-minute commute to get you from Main Street down to the Fremont Bridge. Back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Still to come on Sunrise, the Federal Trade Commission canceling a rule that would have made it easier for you to cancel unwanted subscriptions. Why experts say there may still be a way to make canceling a little easier. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues after this. But hey, we want to let you know that the KGW School Supply Drive is coming soon to a school district near you, and you can join us. Go to kgw.com/school to sign up your business or organization to be an official school supply drive collection site. Help us collect school supplies and send thousands of kids and teachers in the area back to school with all the tools they need.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
FTC rule that would have made it easier to cancel subscriptions has been blocked, at least for now. Karen Kaifa brings us more on what it means for consumers.
Click to cancel is canceled for now. Earlier this month, a U.S. appeals court blocked the Federal Trade Commission rule that would have required businesses to make it just as easy to cancel subscriptions and memberships as it is to sign up for them. The rule, passed by the FTC under the Biden administration, was set to cover everything from gym memberships to streaming services to free trials.
Companies shouldn't be able to engineer a website to trap you in a doom loop simply so that they can keep taking money out of your account every single month when you don't want them to anymore.
Business groups like the U.S. Chamber of Commerce had criticized the rule as micromanaging businesses. The court nixed the rule because they said the FTC failed to conduct a preliminary analysis of the costs and benefits.
They dismissed the rule based on a technicality with the FTC's rulemaking process. We were certainly disappointed to see that result. But the good news is that it's not the end of the story.
Aaron Whitty of the Consumer Federation of America says some state and federal lawmakers have possible legislative protections in the works. But for now, consumers should be vigilant when signing up for a subscription service, maybe by setting a calendar reminder for the end of a free trial or the next billing date.
Try to look before you sign up at what the cancellation process really looks like so that you understand going into it what it's going to take for you to cancel when you don't want that product or subscription anymore.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
I hate that you have to sign up for things to get discounts and then you have to go through this like jump and hoops to cancel. Just give me the discount. I'm on your website. I made it there.
But the company wants you to stay with them forever. They want you, China, to stay with them.
I'm sitting this one out.
Okay.
Let's get you going. It is a pain, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a pain, no doubt. Here's our satellite radar. We are all dry right now, but if you look down at the bottom of your screen, starting to get some clouds, and this is where there's a thunderstorm threat down in southern Oregon later today, so keep an eye on that. It is another morning. Good morning to you folks at the beach. We're starting off with cloudy skies, and it's another day where the clearing patterns are not very obvious, meaning some areas could stay cloudy throughout the day while other pockets eventually get at least partly cloudy skies developing. Pretty murky looking from Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. It's 56 degrees, obviously overcast. You get inland away from the Columbia River. There are some clouds up into Kelso Longview, but otherwise we're clear. Here's Timberline Lodge. Pretty warm up there. That's a sign that this batch of air that produced a 93 in Salem yesterday and a 90 out at PDX is still pretty warm. We're at 54 degrees. Weather models show this batch of air today is roughly 2 to 3 degrees cooler than what we had yesterday. So we'll see where we top out. I think in Portland, Salem, Albany, Vancouver, we will hold in the 80s. We're at 61 out there right now. Here are the other numbers. 59 and cloudy in Kelso. Overcast up and down the beach. Astoria 56. Good morning to you folks. And then you have a beautiful sunny morning over in Bend. We're at 63 and it's 55, one of the cooler spots out in Baker City. Had a chance, we were over in Idaho last week, so you have a chance to be on 84 and drive through the valley. And we hit the Elkhorn Mountains and my wife and daughter were like, oh, it's so pretty, Dad. Where are we? And I'm like, well, that's Baker City right there, 55 degrees. Gorgeous part of our state. All right, cloudy skies. Futurecast shows that up and down the beach in the Kelso Longview this morning. And then notice the white. That's the model going, well, some of you stay cloudy today. Remember, there's that threat of some scattered showers down near the California border and in southeastern Oregon. Now, tomorrow, if the modeling is correct, the surge of low clouds in the morning pushes over the Coast Range into the valley. And that would be a sign of our big cool off, which takes us into a very, very comfortable weekend. There's that thunderstorm threat out across southeastern areas of our state again tomorrow afternoon into the evening. So valley forecast numbers, a beautiful sunny day. Temperatures holding in the 80s. We've got 86 in Salem, 84 in Corvallis, Southwest Washington, 78 in Longview. You have the clouds to start, but sun is coming. Battleground, Vancouver, sunny, 85, 87. I've got Portland at 87. Then some early clouds tomorrow, 80. Clouds that may stick around longer in the day. Saturday morning, 76, and potentially shy of 80 on Sunday. And then we have a one-day warm-up. It looks like Tuesday of next week we pop back up to about 90 degrees. And here is Chris McGinnis.
Comfortable stuff. All right, thank you, Rod. Let's get you out the door with that traffic alert again. This is in Clackamas County, I-205 southbound, extra slow this morning. Here's the backup, which the end of the line, if you will, starts right around or just south of Clackamas. We've two separate issues right now on 205 South. This is the earlier one near Viewpoint. The good news here is that it has been cleared for the most part. Both lanes are rolling. Traffic's still running slow because of that. And then we've got another situation on the shoulder here south of Highway 43. No lanes blocked, but it's kind of a visual distraction. So between the two, the drive is running really thick right now between Clackamas and Westland. I-5 southbound, of course, slow and go from Main Street. That's a 22-minute commute to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. And a reminder, this weekend, 217, this is a full closure, both directions of 217 between Greenberg Road and 99W. It's overnight Saturday for 8 hours, basically from midnight to 8 a.m. Sunday, as they do some work around that Hall Boulevard overpass. By the way, the Hall Boulevard overpass, which has been closed for some time, is scheduled to reopen in August. I'll keep you posted on that, but for now, the weekend closure is 8 hours, overnight, 217, both directions. True?
All right, thank you, Chris. A federal judge ruled President Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship is unconstitutional. We're going to have that story and other national headlines coming your way when Sunrise continues after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Welcome back to Sunrise. There is a new proposal in Washington that would require all voters in the state to provide documented proof of U.S. citizenship before they cast their ballot. If this is approved, it would get rid of the current system where voters simply check a box to confirm that they're a legal citizen.
All they do is they check a box saying, yes, I'm a legal voter.
The new proposal would require physical proof of citizenship, and now that could be a passport or a birth certificate. Some Democratic lawmakers, though, say that this extra step is not necessary. They say it will simply make it harder for legal voters to register.
If you ask the average person, where is your birth certificate right now in this moment, they might not know, and it might be a challenge to pull all of that together.
If the state law does change, every voter in Washington would need to re-register with documentation. All right, let's check out some national headlines now with your morning rush. A federal appeals court voted against President Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. Yesterday's ruling upholds a nationwide ban on the administration's implementation of the measure. The president wants to deny automatic citizenship to children born here in the U.S. whose parents are undocumented immigrants. The Supreme Court, meanwhile, ruled that President Trump can remove members of the Consumer Product Safety Commission. The 6-3 decision clears the way for the president to fire 3 Democratic commissioners who were appointed by President Biden. In New York City, 2 men accused of kidnapping and torturing an Italian man in a Manhattan apartment have been granted $1 million bail each. These men are charged with kidnapping, assault, and coercion, accused of beating and shocking their victim while demanding access to his Bitcoin. The victim escaped in late May after giving up his password. It's not clear if he knew the suspects. Their next court date is set for October. And finally here, a doctor has pleaded guilty to supplying Matthew Perry with the drugs that led to his death. Federal prosecutors say the doctor now faces up to 10 years in prison for each of 4 counts. Matthew Perry died in October of 2023 at age 54. The doctor is one of 5 people charged and plans to give up his medical license. And that's a look at your morning rush. In Washington, a 4-year-old is now out of the hospital after a cougar attacked them while hiking with a family in Olympic National Park. So this happened last Sunday near the Victoria Overlook at Hurricane Ridge. Park officials say the child was bitten by a cougar wearing a tracking collar. The child was airlifted to Seattle for treatment. Rangers say they were able to track the cougar and kill it. The National Park Service says encounters like this remain extremely rare, but they still urge people not to hike or jog alone and always keep a close eye on children. Vancouver police arrest a man who was already a level 3 sex offender for allegedly raping a 12-year-old girl, and police believe he could have more victims. We'll have more on this story coming up at 7:30. We're also talking about the rise of insurance rates, home insurance rates all across the country. There is a reason given for this. We'll let you know what it is coming up in our next half hour.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on a Thursday morning drive. We start with the traffic alert in Clackamas. Now, here, the good news, bad news. The earlier crashes that were causing the delays, those have cleared, but the damage done to the southbound 205 commute, you're looking at it live right now in Clackamas. We'll zoom in. That red line is essentially 4 miles of really thick traffic from Clackamas down to Westland over the Abernathy Bridge. Earlier crash near Highway 43 and near Viewpoint have cleared, so that's the good news. It's just going to take a while to flush out that backup. So plan some extra time on that side of town. Trip from Clark County, holding steady, 22 minutes now southbound to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Rod?
All right, Chris, thanks for that. We do have here in Portland, Salem, and Vancouver a beautiful sunny start to our day. Early morning number is 61 degrees. If you haven't heard, it was 90 in Portland yesterday and 93 in Salem. Today we think we at least hold into the 80s. I've got a 76 at noon and 87 at 5 o'clock. 7-day forecast has a nice cool down for your weekend plans. Right now, all dry. Morning clouds on Saturday, 76, and maybe only 78 degrees on Sunday. Looks like we start to warm back up as we get into next week.
7:30 half hour of the Sunrise Show. We kick things off with a live look from our Providence Park Sky Cam. You know, the Timbers, some great game last Saturday. The Thorns is what I meant to say. The Thorns are coming up this Saturday from Providence Park, so we'll look forward to that game. What do we say here to start this half hour, China?
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. We are live at 7:30. We're happy to have you here. Got a lot to get to. Let's start off with weather.
Yeah, I don't have much. I'm glad you guys are busy. Weatherman's not very busy today. Here's a look at our Salem sky camera. We have basically clear skies over the state. It is another day with clouds at the beach, the sun inland, and it will be warm, but not as hot as yesterday, thank goodness. 60 degrees in our state capital this morning. Here's downtown Portland. We're at 61, and then our day moving forward, 76 degrees at noon. At least holding in the 80s. Weather models say mid-80s. I've got us 87 on the upper ends. We'll see how warm we get. Chris, of course, is checking your traffic. Here he is.
I am checking my traffic, and let's go do that right now. We are looking at I-205 southbound, which is running really thick from Clackamas down to Westland because of two earlier issues, one near Highway 43, another one near Viewpoint. The good news is that those crashes have cleared. The bad news is the damage done here as we're puttering along south of Clackamas at about 10 miles an hour. So that's kind of our big slow spot of the morning. It is improving. That's good news, but give yourself some extra time there. I-5 from Clark County. Here's the live look up near the Discovery Trail crossing right near Main Street. That's a little slow and go, always. 23 minutes now gets you into the Fremont Bridge. I want to let you know about this. Coming up this weekend, 217, a full closure both directions of 217 for 8 hours on Saturday night between Greenberg Road and 99W. It'll close at about midnight. It'll reopen Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. Drew, China.
All right, thank you, Chris. Top story here at 7:30. Vancouver police arrested a 24-year-old sex offender accused of raping a 12-year-old girl, and they believe he could have other victims.
He was already listed as a level 3 sex offender before this alleged incident, and we do want to warn you that some of the details in this story may be difficult to hear. KGW's Alma McCarty brings us more.
Up. Get on the ground, or do it now!
On July 18th, officers with the Vancouver Police Department served a warrant on Northeast 143rd Avenue.
Get on the ground right now! On the ground, you're under arrest!
The suspect, identified as Suleiman Abdul Hadi, accused of giving alcohol to a preteen before raping her at this residence. Court documents also allege the 24-year-old had sex with a 15-year-old girl days prior. Before the incident, the teens were communicating with him, documents say, on Snapchat.
What is going on? Yeah. Okay. Lay down on the ground. Face first on the ground.
Investigators say Abdul Hadi was on GPS surveillance and is a known sex offender, restricted from being around minors. In addition to charges of rape and supplying liquor to minors, he's also charged for failing to register as a sex offender. Detectives releasing this mugshot of Abdul Hadi because they believe there may be, quote, numerous other child victims, specifically young girls ages 11 to 17. Alma McCarty, KGW News.
If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, remember that help is available 24/7. You can call the National Sexual Assault Hotline at that number there on your screen, 1-800-656-4673.
In Clackamas County, the sheriff's office busted a man they say scammed a local interior supply store out of thousands of dollars in tools. Investigators say 40-year-old Zachary DeLuzio posed as a worker from a drywall company and then used that company's account number to buy the tools. He's then accused of posting the tools for sale on Facebook Marketplace. So detectives set up a sting. They arranged a meetup to buy those tools, and they arrested DeLuzio when he got there. They believe he may have also targeted other businesses. Salem leaders are working to address rising crime in the downtown and northeast parts of the city. City councilors heard proposals on this week, including using overtime to pay for more police patrols and also bringing back the downtown police bike team. Another potential solution? Creating a co-response team where a paramedic, an EMT, and a mental health clinician would respond to incidents involving emotional disturbances or overdoses.
That is a way where we can not only address these issues in a professional way by people that are trained to do it, but also as a value add, we take those call volume off our fire engines and off our heavy equipment that needs to be available for other emergencies within the city.
Salem staff will present again before City Council on August 11th with a budget meeting set for September.
Governor Tina Kotek is laying out her plan for a slimmed-down transportation bill after she ordered lawmakers back to Salem for a special session. So her plan includes a 6-cent increase in the state's gas tax, a $42 hike in vehicle registration fees, and a $139 increase for title fees. Electric vehicles would also see an additional $30 fee. Governor Kotek says that these are all essential to cover ODOT's funding needs to avoid layoffs.
Taken together, these dollars will cover the ODOT budget in order to maintain basic services for Oregonians and prevent the layoffs of workers who provided basic services.
Meantime, some Republican lawmakers have pushed back on the new taxes, saying that the state should use money from the emergency reserve.
There continue to be options available to the governor and to the legislature to protect jobs, protect boots on the ground, and not raise taxes on Oregonians. We don't even need a special session for it.
Yeah, but the special session is scheduled to start the Friday before Labor Day weekend. Meantime, TriMet announced that it's facing a projected $300 million budget gap.
TriMet's GM blames part of the budget crisis on the state's failure to pass a transportation funding bill. And he also said cuts are coming to make up for this deficit. Those cuts would include reducing bus frequency on several lines, eliminating some low ridership lines altogether, and shortening the Max Green line. TriMet admits that even if lawmakers did pass that funding bill, it would not have solved all their financial issues. The company's claiming that operating costs are up 50% since the pandemic, and also says there's been a $55 to $60 million drop in annual fare revenue. We talked to a rider who shared her thoughts on TriMet's problems.
Not just the pandemic, but drug and homelessness might impact how safe people feel riding a bus.
We need riders. We need you to come back to TriMet. Those that left us, come back and try us, and you'll find out how we have turned the ship.
The first cuts are scheduled for late November, although TriMet has not yet said which bus lines will be reduced or eliminated.
Your time now is 7:37. We're tracking a new wildfire that popped up yesterday afternoon in Klickitat County on the Washington side of the gorge. There are now level 3 go now evacuations for Brewer Road fire stretching from Klickitat to Waukiakus. Early estimates have the fire at just over 50 acres.
About 10 miles from that fire, crews have made more progress on the Burdoyne fire burning between Bingen and Lisle. This fire is now 13% contained. It has burned over 11,000 acres at this point. Firefighters say they've built what they're describing as a defensible space around homes in the area. We also know Washington Governor Bob Ferguson is scheduled to visit the area later this morning. We're going to stream his remarks live starting at 10:30 right here on KGW+.
Headed over to meteorologist Rod Hill. I know you were tracking the wildfires on your end.
Yeah, I spent time this morning reading the discussions from the Burdoyne fire and what Drew was talking about, that defensible space. They basically went home to home to home. There's like 1,000 homes in that area, I think, and cleared out, in their words, 50 feet to 100 feet of brush and fuels, cleared that around the homes. And they hope to double down on that work today, maybe get as much as a 200-foot perimeter around homes where they've cleared out brush and fuel. The containment lines were built yesterday. Let's hope for good news today. But overall, yesterday was a good day for the crews battling those blazes. Similar weather today, by the way, will be good news as well with the west breeze. Here's our nearest live camera from the Oregon Veterans Home camera out in the Dalles. Again, that Burdoyne fires between Bingen and Lisle. This is 70 degrees. There's the northwest wind direction. Not bad winds this morning. Expecting some gusts no higher than about 20 or 25 this afternoon, again from the west. Here's a look at the Rose City. Beautiful morning once again. Temperature where it has been lately, 61 degrees out the door. All of the valley waking up to sunshine. Here's the camera down in Silverton from the Oregon Garden Resort, and literally not a cloud in the sky to be found. Temperature is pretty nice. We're now warming up where most of us are up into the 60s. What is it? Coming up on 7:40 in the morning. 63 in Tigard, 63 in Gresham. Scappoose still in the 50s at 58 degrees. Dallas at 59, and there's Salem and Silverton each at 60. Your next 6 hours, this puts us in the mid-70s at noon and then 80 degrees at 2 o'clock. I think it's a fair statement to say we absolutely stay in the 80s today. The question is, Do we only get into the mid 80s, or do we warm up to 87 or 88? That seems to be the potential range. Janie's our KGW Dog of the Day. Good morning. Use that email address, dogoftheday@kgw.com. Send us your dog's photos and name, and your dog will become our Dog of the Day. There's Janie this morning. Forecast map. Again, it's cloudy at the beaches this morning, and again, some of you may not get out of the clouds today. Temperatures will be in the 60s. Inland, generally just sunny skies. You do have a thunderstorm chance out towards Burns, and really, if anything, mainly even south of you folks is the better chance of getting some boomers a little bit later today into this evening. 7-day forecast is all dry for Portland. 87 today. We start getting into morning clouds here in the valley tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Anywhere from 80 to mid-70s for the coming days once we get through today. So really nice stuff. And there's that number getting back up to about 90 degrees on Tuesday. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. Let's get you back out the door. We focus on I-205 near Willamette Falls, south of West Lynn. We had some earlier issues. We had a crash here about an hour ago. That crash has cleared, and the traffic is slowly starting to flush out a little bit. We also had a situation near Highway 43. That too has cleared. But I want to take you behind door number 3 because, as always, there is a residual delay. And here it is. This is in the Clackamas area. So I-205 south from Clackamas to about Oregon City is running extra thick this morning. I'll zoom in. That's basically what this red line is showing you, that southbound traffic is puttering along at about 10 miles an hour. So plan a few extra minutes there. We'll take you up to Clark County. There's I-5 from the Discovery Trail crossing near Main Street, all 3 lanes slow and go, heading down to the Interstate Bridge. And guys, at last check, it's still a 26-minute commute to get you in from Main Street down to the Fremont Bridge. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Chris. Coming up here on Sunrise, we're talking about the rise in home insurance rates all across the country. We're going to cover the specific issue behind that rise and why experts say even if you don't live in an area with those issues, you're still going to foot the bill. That story straight ahead.
Hey, I'm Blair Best, and tonight at 6:30, I recently did a story about a homeless woman, pregnant and addicted to fentanyl. Well, it turns out there are services available in Portland to help women just like her. Watch the story tonight live at 6:30 on KGW or anytime on our TV app, KGW+. Have a great morning, and I'll see you tonight.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW+. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW+. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Here's a look at some of your consumer headlines. More than 100,000 ice cream bars made by brand Rich's Ice Cream have been recalled over concerns over potential listeria contamination. They include everything from chocolate crunch cake bars to orange cream bars. The items were sold in 23 states, including Oregon. So if you can find more information on the FDA or Rich's website, do that. And Meta is rolling out new safety features to better protect kids and teens online. On Instagram, teens can now see when users join the app and get more information about with their messaging to help spot scammers. They can also spot and block report accounts at the same time. Meta says that teens have already used these tools to report millions of accounts. And according to the National Association of Realtors, the median price of a previously owned home in the U.S. was $435,000 in June. That is the highest on record. Existing home sales fell 2.7% last month, and experts say that the housing market remains challenging for buyers because of high mortgage rates.
Another thing that's eating at homeowners these days are insurance costs. So a new survey found the cost of the average home insurance policy has gone up significantly all across the country because of an increase in big weather events. And as CNN's Jen Sullivan found out, even if you don't live in a state with these big weather events, your rates can still go up.
From ravenous wildfires to devastating tornadoes, natural disasters are becoming more frequent and more intense. Last year, there were 27 confirmed weather and climate disasters in the U.S., with losses exceeding $1 billion, according to NOAA. Because of this, many home insurance companies are raising policy rates.
There are more natural disasters happening, and they're affecting more homes.
Holden Lewis with NerdWallet says they recently conducted a survey among homeowners and found 54% said their premiums have gone up in the last 12 months. These rate hikes aren't specific to certain states, it's nationwide.
They end up having to pass along some of those costs to states that might have fewer natural disasters.
State Farm recently raised home insurance rates by an average of 27.2% in Illinois. They say it's because in 2024, for every dollar they collected from policyholders, State Farm paid out $1.26. State Farm said Illinois had the second highest hailstorm damage claims last year, totaling $638 million. Telling CNN in part, accurate risk-based pricing makes sure that insurers like State Farm can pay claims during some of life's toughest moments for policyholders.
Some of the most costly natural disasters are hailstorms.
Inflation and the rising cost of supplies is also contributing to higher premiums. But Lewis says there are things you can do to help lower your rates. Adding roof trusses or upgrading your garage door can help get a better rate. Also installing fire alarms and security systems. And shop around to compare different companies' premiums. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, that was fun. The entire time we were listening to that, we were also talking about how much we were paying for our own insurance. Home, auto, life, all that good stuff.
I get why there's so many uninsured motorists out there, and according to insurance companies I've talked to, that number is surging right now because it's becoming unaffordable to have insurance in many categories.
Even if you're a clean driver, like your record's clean, it's still expensive.
If you bathe every time right before you jump in your car, so you're super clean, China, it's still expensive.
Rodney.
China's so happy I'm
Don't
back.
do the weather.
Aren't you glad I'm back, China? He's back. Oh, you missed me. All right, good morning. Good to be back. Here's a look at our satellite picture across Oregon and Washington. We have low clouds up and down the coast. We have clouds up the river into Kelso, Longview. Otherwise, we are clear this morning. Here are the clouds from our Lincoln City Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera. And again, I can't sit here as a forecaster and guarantee that you're going to clear out and get sunshine. What's most likely is there will be random pockets of clearing and random pockets, especially as you head up north where the clouds hold throughout the day. You're at 56, looking for highs to get up into the 60s. Generally inland, away from Kelso Longview anyway, it is sunny and it is a gorgeous morning. Timberline, that looks like a little breeze, moving the trees around a little bit, 55 degrees, well, with northwest wind to 16 miles per hour right now. Temperatures over Portland this morning, generally right about 60. Currently we're at 61. Of course, we're on the rise now, coming up on 8 o'clock this morning. Beautiful day for the majority of us. And here on the west side anyway, really most of the state, even out east now that I think about it, not as warm as yesterday. These are currents, 70 in the Dalles, 63 in John Day, and you see the 50-degree temperatures along the coast. So here's Futurecast. It correctly shows the low clouds this morning along the coast, correctly shows that little finger of cloudiness coming up the Columbia River into Kelso Longview. It shows clearing backing off, but maybe some cloud pockets along the coast. Now, there is a shower/thunderstorm threat down primarily near the California border and then into far southeastern Oregon today. This thunderstorm threat will redevelop tomorrow, by the way. Now, speaking of Friday, this is something we didn't have today. If this is correct, we'll get low clouds pushing all the way into the Willamette Valley tomorrow. And, of course, that'll be your visual cue that, hey, we're getting more of an influence coming off the Pacific waters, and in no way is it going to be as warm as it has been lately. That's your Friday. Now, we will get developing sunshine here in the valley, and there's that thunderstorm threat kind of refiring out in southeastern Oregon. So for today, yesterday was 93. You folks in Salem, 86, maybe a little bit warmer, maybe 88, but we think you'll hold in the 80s today. Northwest winds 5 to 15. And then in southwest Washington, we have the clouds in Kelso Longview. This shows you at 78 degrees. The sunshine in Clark County holding in the 80s. So again, a little bit more comfortable out there this afternoon. 85 in Battleground. I've got Portland as warm as 87. Looks like we'll be 87 or maybe only like 85. And then closer to 80 tomorrow with the early clouds. Cloudiness that may last longer in the morning on Saturday, holding us in the mid-70s for a high. And potentially going Sunday only at 78 degrees. Really comfortable weekend coming up. We do have us back up to about 90 degrees on Tuesday. All right, Chris, you have good news or bad news this morning?
I've got normal news. How about that?
Okay.
Anybody getting in the car this time of the morning knows they're in for a slog out of Clark County. This is what it looks like up near the Discovery Trail crossing near Main Street. So I-5 southbound slow and go from there down to the Interstate Bridge. In fact, at last check now, that has jumped up to nearly 30 minutes from Main Street to I-405. Not out of the ordinary, but just slow and steady. Let's take over to Clackamas. This is a little out of the ordinary. I mean, 205 is usually slow southbound, but there's extra slowing here because of some earlier crashes near Westland and near Viewpoint. Those are out of the way, but from Clackamas to Oregon City right now, you're puttering along southbound at about 9 miles an hour. So obviously plan some extra time there. Inbound Sunset, the sun is right in the driver's eye here as you work your way up from 217 to the Sylvan Hills. So, of course, that's creating some slowing there. And the drive from Troutdale, westbound I-84, that too, guys, has jumped up a little bit. We're now looking at 31 minutes to get you in from Troutdale west to the I-5 split. China, back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Still to come on Sunrise, Uber now giving riders
you would not believe
the
how many
option
women
to opt in.
Tell me when they get in the car, like, oh, I'm so glad you're my driver.
Yeah, so Uber is giving riders the option to opt in for female drivers. What local rideshare drivers had to say about that change. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues right after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
For many women, getting into a rideshare car comes with a question of safety. But now Uber is looking to address that issue by giving women the option to choose female drivers. KGW's Libby Dowsett spoke with drivers about how they feel about the change.
Uber touts its new feature allowing women to request women drivers as a way to provide riders with more confidence and choice when they need a ride.
Doesn't bother me at all. No, not at all. You know, everybody's free to choose whoever they want.
The new option will appear on the Uber app, but if the wait time is too long, Uber says riders can easily opt for a faster pickup.
We can feel more safety. Yeah.
Uber's competition Lyft rolled out its similar Women Connect program in 2023 and took it nationwide last year. A spokesperson told us it's one of their highest-rated driver features, with 67% of eligible drivers opting in. Maria Flores says she just had a rider request it.
She said, "Oh, I only request for females because I feel safety."
Driver Alana Engelman from Portland says it's one of the main reasons she prefers to drive for Lyft.
You would not believe how many women tell me when they get in the car, like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're my driver."
Uber says it can't guarantee a woman driver, but if riders turn on the preference, it will increase their chances. Uber also plans to offer women drivers the option to request women riders, including during peak nighttime hours. But some of the men at the PDX driver holding area say these options aren't necessary.
The Uber company got the info of the driver and the passengers, so nobody can do any trouble for anybody.
It's gonna bring more women by women in the business. So I think it's not a good idea.
But women drivers say men don't understand what they face.
One guy in the vehicle asked if he could kiss me. Luckily, we were already at the drop-off point, and I was like, "No, thank you."
Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
Coming up at 8, KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus with a homicide investigation in Vancouver. What police know so far and what they're still trying to figure out. Plus,
you're a joke. Complete joke.
Emotions pouring out of the courtroom yesterday as the families of the University of Idaho students killed by Brian Kohberger get to address the killer face to face. We're going to recap yesterday's sentencing, including more statements from the loved ones ripped apart by those murders.